I know that you've been fooling round on me right from the start. So I'll give back your ring and I'll take back my heart. And when you're tired of fooling round with two or three, just come on home and fool around with me. Well, I wasn't fooling round the day I said I do, but many nights I wish that I'd been fooling too. I know it's foolish taking all this misery, but when it's you, a fool I'll always be. I know that you've been fooling round on me right from the start. So I'll give back your ring and I'll take back my heart. And when you're tired of fooling round with two or three, just come on home and fool around with me. Honey, fool around, you know right where I'm at. Don't worry if I'm lonesome, cause I'm used to that. And when you're tired of fooling round with two or three, just come on home and fool around with me. I know that you've been fooling round on me right from the start. So I'll give back your ring and I'll take back my heart. And when you're tired of fooling round with two or three, just come on home and fool around with me. Just come on home and fool around with me. Church door was open as I stepped inside. I went there hoping that she'd change her mind. There were beautiful roses in the bridal bouquet where she stood at the altar in a veil of white lace. A stranger in silence reached out for her hand and placed on her finger a gold wedding band. There was happiness written in the smile on his face, but I couldn't see hers neath the veil of white lace. I pity that stranger for all he could see was their life together for eternity. My heart filled with anger when I picture the face of a false-hearted quitter in a veil of white lace. I reached in my pocket when the wedding was done. My hand touched a locket, then fell on the gun. It shattered the silence as it left its trail. Strains of red crimson on a veil of white lace. I ran from the church door as I threw down my gun. but stopped at the doorstep, for they're crossing the lawn. My darling said she had decided to wait, death to a stranger neath the veil of white lace. October, November, her birthday's soon to be. Time was getting short now, there was no way I could see. And each day she talks of November 23. How could I tell my little girl no work for me there'd be? When she said, could I have the Dolly, a walking, talking Dolly, who'd laugh and be so happy just like me? I said, say your prayers to God each night, for Mom and Dad, that they will find a way that you can have your birthday dream. October, November, not much time left for me. She looked so small and open-eyed as she sat on Mommy's knee. She said, Daddy, my birthday's November 23. What would you like? Her soft reply was all that I could hear. Oh, she said, could I have the Dolly, a walking, talking Dolly, who'd laugh and be so happy just like me? I said, say your prayers to God each night, for Mom and Dad, that they will find a way that you can have your birthday dream. My heart filled with sadness I'd never felt before, when a knocking and a neighbor's voice whispered at my door. I stood there in silence, my tears I tried to hide. A friend in need is a friend indeed, from your friends, he said with pride. And then came her birthday, as stars lit up the skies. I sat and waited through the night, saw her open up her eyes. As tears fell, I watched her, as happy as can be. I can't forget the words she sobbed as she turned and said to me, oh, she said, isn't she wonderful? Isn't she beautiful? Isn't she the sweetest Dolly you have ever seen? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she beautiful? Daddy, please thank God and Mommy for me. She was called a scarlet woman by the people, who would go to church but left me on the street. With no parents of my own, I never had a home, and an 18-year-old boy has got to eat. She found me outside one Sunday morning, taking money from a man I didn't know. She took me in and wiped away my childhood. A woman of the street, this lady Rose. This bed of roses that I lay on, where I was taught to be a man. This bed of roses where I'm living is the only kind of life I understand. just 35, who was spoken to in town by very few. She managed a late evening business like most of the town wish they could do. I learned all the things that a man should know from a woman not approved of, I suppose. She died knowing that I really loved her. Off life's bramble bush I picked a rose. This bed of roses that I lay on, where I was taught to be a man. This bed of roses where I'm living is the only kind of life I understand. This bed of roses that I lay on, where I was taught to be a man. This bed of roses where I'm living is the only kind of life I understand. It's the only kind of life I understand. Darling, I am growing old. Silver threads among the gold shine upon my brow today. Life is fading fast away, but my darling, you will be always young and fair to me. Yes, my darling, you will be always young and fair to me. When your hair is silver white and your cheeks no longer bright, with the roses of the May, I would kiss your lips and say, darling, darling, mine alone, alone. You have never old or grown. Yes, my darling, mine alone. You have never old or grown. Darling, I am growing old. Silver threads among the gold shine upon my brow today. Life fading fast away. But my darling, you will be always young and fair to me. Yes, my darling, you will be always young and fair to me. Yes, my darling, you will be always young and fair to me. As I rode out one morning, going to Dungarvan fair, I spied a pretty maiden with the sunlight in her hair. Her way was so delightful, her voice rang like a bell, and as I overtook her, I asked if she was well. Lay down your woolen shawl, my love, I swear it is no joke, and I'll tell to you the story of the old Dungarvan oak. As we approached Dungarvan, the girl at me did stare, and she asked me why I raised my hat to a tree so old and bare. I told her of the legend, if this tree should e'er come down, there'd be a great disaster, and Dungarvan would be drowned. Lay down your woolen shawl, my love, I swear it is no joke, and I'll tell to you the story of the old Dungarvan oak. And then she started laughing, my face grew very red, and she said that only fools believed what these old legends said. Her laughter was contagious, for the truth to you I'll tell. By the time we reached the marketplace, I began to laugh as well. Lay down your woolen shawl, my love, I swear it is no joke, and I'll tell to you the story of the old Dungarvan oak. Sit here by my fireside, it's the autumn of my life, and the darling girl I met that day is now my darling wife. I have a lovely daughter and a son to push my yoke, and all because I raised my hat to the old Dungarvan oak. Lay down your woolen shawl, my love, I swear it is no joke, and I'll tell to you the story of the old Dungarvan oak. Lay down your woolen shawl, my love, I swear it is no joke, and I'll tell to you the story of the old Dungarvan oak. Working on the job all week, trying to make some money like we all do, 'cause that's the only way to make it pay when you live life the way that I do. From Monday up to Thursday, the time goes slow and sure ain't too appealing. But when the next day comes along, I start to get that Friday night feeling. I got that Friday night feeling again. Gonna go downtown with all my friends, have a real good time, date a few girlfriends. I got that Friday night feeling again. Waiting for the clock upon the wall to tell me work is over. I've got to get on home and get ready, 'cause my friends will soon be over. And as we're slowly heading into town, I feel my head is reeling, and I can feel it coming on